Live from New York, this is the Harvey Hour. My name's Stephen Harvey. It's great to have you here on a Friday. As always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. How are you doing today on this Friday?
I'm great. Draft was exciting last night, and some surprising picks, actually. Some that I couldn't believe, actually. Falcons pick, which we're going to talk about first here. And, at Patriots, went with quarterback Drake Maye. I thought they would go different there, but it was interesting, and I watched most of it. And given our scoring methodology, 5 for getting it right, 3 for the right position player, and 1 if they were in the first round, I scored 70 points.
Okay, so it's 70.
70, yeah. I went back. I had 1 I missed. Yeah, I got 70 points.
I think mine was 79.
You beat me.
A couple shocking picks, I would say. You got Xavier Legette, though. That was probably the one that shocked me the most. You also had Michael Penix, I believe, somewhere in there. But
I did.
He was a second-round grade for me. And we're going to get into, let's actually begin with Michael Penix, because this was the shock of the draft. Michael Penix got selected 8th overall by the Atlanta Falcons. Penix, Washington quarterback, has dealt with some injuries over the course of his career, which I guess deterred a lot of teams, supposedly. But somehow the Falcons thought that they were going to go Green Bay 2.0 and select Michael Penix to be the succession plan to Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, as we know in this offseason, signed a massive deal, 4 years, $180 million with $100 million guaranteed, and there's really no potential out for a couple of years now, which made a lot of people curious on why the hell they would draft Michael Penix in number 8.
Me included.
Yeah, I think a lot of people include everybody. So I want to know, do you think the Falcons maybe made a mistake by drafting Penix, or just the quarterback in general, at number 8?
Absolutely. I don't know why they did that. I think that Kirk Cousins is signed for 4 years. He's a proven pro. He did have the Achilles injury last year. He should recover from that. He didn't know about it, and they made him angry. Not only should they have not picked a quarterback, but they shouldn't have made their number one free agent signing, $180 million contract, 4-year deal, angry at them. Okay? I'm sure he's upset by it. He didn't even know the Falcons were on until the Falcons were on the clock, right? And there's frustration and confusion, I understand, in the Kirk Cousins camp, because they thought that they'd use the pick to make the team better. I mean, they need other players. They need players on defense. I had them going with an edge rusher. I thought they would strengthen the defense, and they picked a player who isn't even going to be on the field for maybe 4 years. It makes no sense to me. I'm sorry.
It is a shocking pick. So the potential out, according to SpotTrack, is 2027, when the dead cap money only goes to 12.5 compared to 25, or I think it's 35 million actually in 2026. So 2027 is the next potential out. So Penix will be 26 years old by 2027. And not only that, it's a horrible time to really let go of a lot of players, because that season, the amount of free agents that are coming up in 2027, or that at least they need to pay. Because if he's there, that's the 4th year. You're going to need to determine whether or not you're going to pick up his 5th-year option. So in 2027, that's Kirk Cousins' first out year. You also have Jake Matthews, your phenomenal left tackle. You have Jesse Bates, your safety, who will be a free agent that year. You have Darnell Mooney, who you picked up this free agency. He'll be a free agent. Drake London, who you drafted, he'll be a free agent. Bijan Robinson, you'll need that would be his 5th-year option year. You're going to be paying a lot of these guys.
That's crazy. That's an excellent point. Okay, and they may have to decide on a 5th-year option for this guy when he may not have even played a snap.
Right.
Come on. It's ridiculous. And you're picking the successor to Kirk Cousins before he even plays a snap for you? That's crazy. I don't get it. And these guys, there's some crazy ego type thing there that doesn't make any sense. I mean, they didn't pick Bill Belichick to be their head coach. One reason they didn't want him doing the draft, right? And we've criticized Bill Belichick's drafting. I guarantee you he wouldn't have taken a quarterback. He would not have. He would have taken a defensive edge rusher, and that would have been the right move.
I would agree with you there. So, as you mentioned, Kirk Cousins didn't know until they were on the clock about to submit the pick. And what his agent actually came out and said, and I quote this, "Yes, it was a big surprise. We had no idea this was coming. The truth is the whole league had no idea this was coming. We got no heads up. Kirk got a call from the Falcons when they were on the clock. That was the first we heard of it. It never came up in any conversation." And supposedly, a source said that Kirk Cousins is as shocked and disappointed as he's ever been.
Yeah.
Never said anything to him or his reps about a QB1 in the first round, despite suggesting that they never said anything to him or his reps about a QB in the first round, despite suggesting they would. I don't understand what that quote was. That's from Jane Slater.
Yeah.
But right before the Atlanta Falcons picked, Adam Schefter came on and said, "Expect a quarterback."
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? They were.
I don't know. I was shocked to hear that too.
Their ranking last year in pass rush was 27th. You lost Bud Dupree as well as Calais Campbell on your defensive line. Your defense is crippling you. You were 20th in rushing defense, and you go with a quarterback who you're trying to pull a Green Bay Packers, and that's actually what Raheem Morris said. Quote, "The Green Bay model was something we talked about. It proved to be right last year. Hopefully we'll be right with them." I hate to break it to you, but Green Bay's succession plan is about preserving the legacy of quarterbacks in Green Bay. You went from Favre to Rodgers to now Love looks like a hit. You're going from Matt Ryan to Desmond Ridder to then Kirk Cousins to then Michael Penix. There's no preservation there.
Yeah.
If you're preserving your the relevancy of your franchise, you've had one singular season out of the past 6 where you didn't win 7 games because you won 4. The past 6 seasons, you averaged 6.5 wins. Kirk Cousins, I guarantee you, will raise that number a decent amount. But right now, you're not competing for a Super Bowl. You're competing to not be god-awful.
Yeah.
Because if you were seriously competing for playoff wins and potential Super Bowls, you fill a gap in your roster, which is defensive line and edge. Hell, you might even want to get a cornerback because the cornerback you have opposite of, Jesse Bates, I believe, A.J. Terrell, is Clark Phillips III. He ranked 86 out of 168. So he's middle of the pack. So if you really want to fill a hole, 85th, even worse, 88th in coverage grade out of 126. Even worse than that. Bottom quarter of cornerbacks.
Penix was surprised. He said he was shocked that he got picked by the Falcons.
Yeah.
He didn't think it would happen. He said, I'm preparing to learn from Cousins. He was the runner-up for the Heisman Trophy last year, won the Maxwell Award. He's one of only 2 quarterbacks to pass for more than 4,900 yards in 23, 4,600 in 22. First since Mahomes to do that. The Falcons said they believe they have the talent to win now and won't have a chance to draft this high in the future. Come on, they don't know that. Their defense stinks. Right? They can't be sure they've got the talent to go deep into the playoffs this coming year. It's crazy. I don't get it.
Well, there's really nothing to get. What's funny is that Penix didn't even have a top 30 visit with Atlanta. All they did was have a 45-minute workout. Atlanta attended a 45-minute workout and met him at the combine. He didn't go to one of those extra meet days like J.J. McCarthy did or Drake Maye did.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams only had 1, and that was just with the Bears, but that was expected.
They could have had Dallas Turner.
You could have. You could have had Jared Verse.
Yeah.
You could have had Laiatu Latu, who could have been the best edge rusher.
Yeah, and as you say, by the time Penix gets to play, the top skill players will all be ready for free agency.
Yeah.
Right? They need to put a team together to win now, and they don't have the talent on defense to take them deep into maybe even get to the playoffs.
Well,
they should have taken a defensive player.
You're in the worst division in football, so if you don't get to the playoffs with Kirk Cousins in any of his 3 to 4 years, that's on you.
Yeah.
Like that. No, not even on you. That's on Kirk Cousins. But here's what really doesn't make sense to me. You signed a 35-year-old quarterback coming off an Achilles injury to then draft a quarterback with a serious injury history.
Yeah, 2 ACLs, both of the same leg. And then two shoulder injuries, left and right.
Right. Left is his throwing shoulder. That's the separated shoulder. And then so he's had 4 consecutive seasons of season-ending injuries. Now, he played 6 years of college football because of eligibility and whatnot. But 2018, torn right ACL. 2019, dislocated shoulder, his right shoulder, not his throwing shoulder. 2020, torn right ACL again. 2021, separated throwing shoulder. So he has a significant injury history. So you signed a 35-year-old quarterback who just is coming off an Achilles injury, sign him to a $45 million a year deal, 4 years, $180 million with $100 million guaranteed, to then draft a guy who, yes, albeit he was very healthy with his time at Washington, but he has 4 years where his season ended quite short. He played very, very few games until it ended at Indiana.
Yeah.
So this doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It doesn't make a lot of sense to anybody.
Fontenot, the guy who made this decision, along with Morris, said they're thinking about the fans and the organization. Well, I bet the fans were shocked.
Oh, yeah, no.
Do you think the fans thought they were going to pick Michael Penix?
No, and there's a video. I saw it on Instagram, House of Highlights, where when the announcement came up, you could hear the groans and moans of the audience.
Yeah.
Because they even know, why are you drafting a quarterback when you have your franchise one who said literally he wants to retire as a Falcon, that's his last destination? Why are you already saying, yeah, we're going to get off of you in 2 years maybe?
Yeah.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, they said they're building a sustained winner for a long time.
No, you're not.
Well, I don't think so. When you pick a player that's not going to see the field maybe for 4 years, you need a lot of help on defense. And to get deep into the playoffs, you got to have a great defense.
Let's just say, for all intents and purposes, that Kirk Cousins plays very well his entire 4 years. That means in that fourth year, and Penix does not see the field, hypothetical situation, if Kirk Cousins is a perennial deep playoff contender, hypothetical, completely, although Kirk Cousins sucks in the playoffs, I think he's 1-3. Dak Prescott has more wins than him. But let's just say he keeps making, a lot of NFC divisional games, maybe 1 or 2 NFC championship games, and that's in 4 years. That means that Michael Penix's first year starting would be his 5th year option year. You would need to give him his 5th year option the year before he even plays a single snap for you.
It's crazy. And you've got all those skill guys, Robinson, Pitts, Drake London. They'll all be ready for a new contract.
The Darnell Mooney, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Jesse Bates, all of them will be free agents, or they would need to sign a 5th year option. And also Jake Matthews, your incredible left tackle as well. All those will either be 5th year options or unrestricted free agents by that year. So you need to sign them either the year before or figure something out, because it's not going to look good for you if you go into potentially Michael Penix's first year and the sustained success you're looking for from Penix and all the guys who you were looking at to maintain that success are gone besides maybe 1 or 2 plus Penix. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
None.
This is a bad decision to start off
Very
with.
bad.
I guarantee you that Atlanta fans are not exactly happy about this, nor should they be, because their defense is still going to be, I would say, not great. It wasn't poor, but you couldn't stop the run very well. Your passing defense was okay because you had a couple nice pieces, but your defensive front now is seriously suffering because you had an opportunity actually to get a number of great defensive people, and reportedly you actually tried to trade back up into the teens to draft Latu, who was the first defensive player off the board at 15 to the Colts.
And couldn't get it done.
Couldn't get it done. And then not only that, you also lost Dallas Turner to 17 to Minnesota.
Yeah.
So it's not a great look right now for Atlanta. We'll have to wait and see. It's going to be fascinating to watch this season how Atlanta does, whether or not Kirk Cousins is locked in and focused.
Yeah, well, he's all upset now. Good way to go, Falcons leadership. Could have had Bill Belichick. Upset Kirk Cousins, drafted a player who will probably not see the field for 4 years, and you'll have to make a decision about whether you're going to give him a 5th year option when you never even seen him play. Great job. Excellent job.
All right, let's get into our next topic here. So the Boston Celtics, as kind of we predicted, what a game. The Miami Heat set a playoff franchise record of 23 3-pointers in their 111-1-0 win over the Boston Celtics and split the series at 1 apiece. Jaime Jaquez had a pretty decent game, 14-point shot, 50% from 3, but it was really the emergence of Caleb Martin and Tyler Hero, both lighting it up, 11 combined threes out of 17 attempts, who really kept the separation between themselves and the Boston Celtics. The Celtics didn't shoot poorly at all. 38%, 37.5% from 3, 46% from the floor. But I want to, are you worried about the Celtics' chances to win this series after Miami put on an absolute clinic against Boston?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I think there's reason to be worried. I think I'm most worried about the two things I'm most worried about. The Celtics' playoff record at home the last couple of years, 13-14.
Wow.
Yeah. Come on, you're playing at home. You got the home court advantage all the way through the playoffs. You just lost it, by the way, in the second game of the playoffs and against the number 8 seed. You lost your home court advantage here. Only 2 games into the playoffs. Not good, guys. Not good. And according to what I read, the Heat were pumped up because the radio announcer for the Celtics, Scarabini.
Oh, yeah, Brian Scalabrine. Oh, yeah.
He said that Caleb Martin undercut Jason Tatum, and it was a shady play, suggesting that the Spoelstra used a late timeout to order a code red on Jason Tatum, and the Heat took that to heart, and they used that as motivation to put up 23 3-pointers. And the other thing that worries me is the Celtics coaching. This is how the Heat beat them last year with the 3-point play, right? In the 7th game, and Caleb Martin coming off the bench to light him up in Game 7 and beat the Celtics. Didn't they learn anything from that? What are they going to do to stop the 3-point play from the Miami Heat? That's how they won the game. They had 33 more points on 3-point shooting than the Celtics did. That's how they won the game, and that's how they beat them last time. Didn't they learn anything from that?
Well, you would hope so, but apparently,
not. I guess they didn't.
Sometimes you just get a hot hand, but I do think there is cause for worry here because what did I say? What are the Celtics going to do when their shooting is not great? When it gets cold, what can they rely on? And, well, we saw it in the third quarter. They didn't score for 4 straight minutes. And it was 72-70 in favor of the Heat, 2-point game. And by the end of the 4 minutes, the next time they scored, it was 82-70. So you had a 12-point gap there. They went on a 10-0 run there. So that third quarter was really the turning point because in that third quarter, Boston was 33% from 3 as well as from the floor, while Miami was 66% from 3 and 55.9% from the floor. The Heat also out-rebounded them, out-assisted them, and scored more points in that third quarter. And that was coming out of they were up by 3, Boston was, at the half. And in that second half, you got outscored by 13 points.
Yeah.
You had no chance to come back. And yes, Tyler Hero had a phenomenal game. He had a double-double in this game, 21 points, 14 assists, while Bam Adebayo, 20 points, 10 rebounds, and then Caleb Martin emerged, hit 5 threes, 5 of 6 from 3. He looked unstoppable. He did look like that Caleb Martin who in Game 7 shut things out and just said, no, you're not creating this 3-0 comeback. It's going to be our game. But obviously, let's say the truth there. Kristaps Porzingis may have played his worst game in his entire career. He went 0 for 4 from 3, 1 of 9, and what's crazy enough, they got Drew Holiday, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Kristaps Porzingis, when it comes to Celtics who actually play significant minutes, not ones that play like 300 minutes in the entire regular season, but significant minutes, he is their best defender. With Drew Holiday on the team, Kristaps Porzingis is their best defender. And in this game, he was terrible. He let up 100% from 3. He let up 63.6%, the second highest shooting percentage, while defending a player in this game. Couldn't defend nothing. He was getting bodied by Bam. He was getting blown by. Porzingis had a horrible game. Now, will he bounce back in Game 3? We hope so. Game 3 is tomorrow. But this Celtics team needs to find some sort of second gear. There was no defense. Drew Holiday.
What is the Celtics culture?
3.
What is their culture?
3. Keep shooting the 3.
What is the Heat's culture? The Heat's
teamwork
culture,
and zone defense.
The Heat's culture is the hardest working team, the best conditioned team, the most professional team, the most unselfish team, the toughest team, the meanest team, the nastiest team in the NBA. And they prove that year after year, getting to the finals. They got to the finals when they were the 5th seed 3 years ago. They got to the finals last year when they were the 8th seed without Tyler Hero. They beat the Celtics the other night on the Celtics home court without Jimmy Butler. They got a culture, and the Celtics
absolutely.
don't.
Well, we saw that last year.
They don't have the toughness. They don't have that resiliency. They don't have the killer instinct that you need when you're up by 30. You try to get up by 50. Right. They don't have that. They give up big leads. They get complacent during the game. As you said, in the third quarter, they went 4 minutes without scoring. They got down by 12. That was really it.
Yeah.
And the to find some motivation here, and they got to find some toughness. They've got to take on some of those qualities that the Heat have in their culture, which has served them so well.
Well, we saw that last year. This is a team made up of undrafted rookies and free agents. Got them all the way to the finals. Undrafted players.
Yeah, 3.
Beat up on Giannis and the Bucks. Really just wanted it way more than the Knicks did, although I still think the Knicks just lost the series because it was just them. They beat themselves up. Then went up 3-0 against the Boston Celtics, who had the deepest team in the NBA. And then Caleb Martin decided to explode in Game 7 and just shut it out, say, you're not creating this comeback. And be honest, let's say the Celtics probably should have lost Game 6. Derek White just did like a 0.2-second buzzer beater. So they had an opportunity to actually end the series in 6. But you're right. The Heat's culture is unmatched. Absolutely unmatched. Eric Spoelstra, phenomenal head coach. I'm forgetting the GM's name off the top of my head. Pat Riley, phenomenal executive. I mean, the Heat have something very, very special. And even after Game 1, yeah, the Celtics won by 20. But they were up by, I think, 36 at one point. And late in the game, it was like there was no really real intensity. I think in the second half, it was like a 54-48, something like that. It was close. I think the Heat might have actually outscored them in the second half, but the Celtics were up by so much.
The Heat knew their goal was to win 1 out of 2.
Yeah.
Right?
And they did exactly that.
They got way behind. They wound up coming back, actually. They cut that 36-point lead down to about 15 or so, right? Even under that, I think they were down to 12 or so. And then the Celtics went back up and won by 20. But I think that it was a good strategy on the Heat's part, in a way, to lose like that. And the Celtics were come in a little bit complacent, thinking we got this wrapped up.
Right.
They get beat. They got beat. Now they've lost the home court advantage. They better win. They better win tomorrow night.
Well, you would
better
hope so.
win.
And this and the funny part about this is their 2 top stars played well. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown combined for 61 points.
28 points for Tatum, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 33 points for Brown, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal.
Yeah.
It's Porzingis. Is he really the real deal?
Can
he be tough in the playoffs? Look, he's going up against Bam, one of the toughest guys in the league, and he's losing out. He's losing out to him. Bam is tougher than he is.
I'm not going to entirely disagree with that, but I'm also going to say you signed this guy to an extension. He played about 20 minutes, and he did absolutely nothing, and that's Peyton Pritchard. You play 20 minutes and don't even attempt a single shot. I got a problem with that. Now, you did get into foul trouble. You had 4 fouls in only 20 minutes. But still, though, you don't attempt a single shot. And there were actually a number of times where Pritchard had the ball in a transition play and decided to just keep dribbling and bounce it out and pass it out instead of driving to the lane, trying to draw a foul, and maybe making a play out of it. You play 20 minutes and don't take a single shot. I got a problem with that.
Yeah. Well, do you think maybe they should go to Horford against Bam instead of Porzingis?
I don't think so. Porzingis is technically their best defender. He's, I think, the number 2 or 3 best offensive player that they have. Yeah. Porzingis actually, if we're talking just about regular season, he's had a tremendous year. This might be just, if we're talking about impact on a team, his best year. Now, statistically, maybe not, but his role fits in beautifully with the Celtics. Yeah. He played incredibly well. He was an incredibly impactful player. Also, Derek White only taking 8 shots. He should be a double-digit shot attempt kind of guy.
Bam had 21 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists. Porzingis 6 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists.
1 of 9 on the floor.
4 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. So he wasn't totally bad, but he got to score more than 6 points when Bam is scoring 21.
Well, when you allow 63% on you and give up 100% from 3 on the guys you're defending. Yeah, you might have a couple nice blocks and a couple decent steals, but you're allowing a lot of points when you don't block it or steal it. You're giving up 12 points from 3. So, and also you shot 1 of 9. You also took shots from basically the logo. Take better shots than that. The shots weren't falling. Now, I will give them credit. The one thing I said was, if you can't shoot the 3 very well, can you get down low? They beat the Heat in points in the paint 46-26.
But that's how they lost last year, Nate, in 7 games. They gave up on the 3.
Right.
They lost their confidence in the 3, right? And then they went down low. They were going down low a lot. They were scoring down low, but they got beat because they were giving up the 3s.
Right.
They were scoring 2. The Heat was scoring 3.
Well, when the Heat shoot 53.5%, I mean,
that's not going to happen every
tough.
game.
23 of 43. I don't know if that's going to happen every game, but you got to at least stop it at some point. Stop
I don't think
the
they're going to
bleeding.
get 23 threes in every game.
Well, it's a
That's
franchise playoff record. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't expect them to shoot 53%. But the defense and the like you said, the heart. Ime Udoka would not let this go. He wouldn't. Now, I think if the Celtics lose this series, Joe Mazzulla should be fired.
He's done.
He should be fired.
He
I don't
will
care
be
about
done.
the offensive efficiency or what. We've seen, like I said last year, the Hawks, the series was too close. The 76ers, that series was too close. You go into the Heat series, you go down 0-3. Should have lost it in 6. Derek White had a tremendous buzzer beater, I believe it was a buzzer beater layup, but you lost in 7. In that 7th game, you were this close to setting NBA history. No team has come back from 3-0. You were this close until Caleb Martin decided to go off. You couldn't stop him. Just imagine if Jimmy Butler was playing. The Celtics genuinely, I might believe this just based on how this game went. Celtics might be down 0-2.
Could be.
If we're talking about playoff Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
So I think it's a serious concern right now, at least. Will that continue? We'll have to see. Game 3 is on Saturday in Miami. Can the Celtics bring it then? We'll have to wait and see. We're going to take a quick break, but coming up, Belichick on the Pat McAfee show on his draft spectacular, I believe that's what he called it. He actually gave a little bit of a criticism on new Patriots quarterback Drake Maye. Also, Embiid dropped a 50-piece against the Knicks to finally take a game and then allow the 76ers to come this closer to tying the series, which happens, I believe, sometime this weekend. We're going to talk about those games right after this.
Using Wi-Fi without NordVPN could mean sharing your private stuff with more people than you think. Stay safe on public Wi-Fi. Get NordVPN's special offer and encrypt your internet connection. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.
Whether you're just discovering your voice or taking your show to the next level, you know what the world needs to hear. All you have to do is say it. With Spotify, set up your podcast. Your food podcast. Your mindfulness podcast. Your never thought you'd get this far podcast. And watch those sparks fly.
I put a picture of the comment.
Drop the episode anywhere people listen. And find out who they're cooking with. Where they're finding inner balance. And why they love your show. You're already a creator. Now you can create, connect, and get paid for your passion with one single free tool. Spotify for podcasters. Talk where the world listens.
Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name's Nathan Harvey. It's great to have you in on a Friday. As always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. Let's get into our next topic of today's show. So Bill Belichick on the Pat McAfee show during their draft spectacular, I believe is what they call it, he gave a little bit of a criticism on New England Patriots quarterback Drake Maye, and this is what he had to say. He said Drake compares himself a lot to Josh Allen. He's been doing that for quite a while. We'll see about that. I think there are some similarities in terms of size and athleticism. But Josh Allen's a pretty special player now. He's going to need some work in reading defenses, reading coverages. He's kind of quick to bail out of the pocket. He's going to have to hang in there a little bit longer. He just needs to be more consistent. The Patriots decided to draft Drake Maye with the 3rd overall pick after actually listening to some offers. We heard throughout the week Elliot Wolf was actually thinking about J.J. McCarthy pushing for him, but it looks like Drake Maye is their quarterback of the future, wearing number 10, replacing Mac Jones's number.
He's going to wear number 10 after Mac Jones stunk it up with that number for 3 years.
Maybe he could redeem the number.
Yeah,
but I want to know, will the Patriots regret drafting Drake Maye? And also, what's your reaction to Belichick's comment?
Well, Belichick also said, I think that's a top need for them at quarterback.
I would say so.
I thought that was interesting. I don't think he was wrong in his commentary, though. I mean, and some of that commentary came well before the draft. Right?
Yeah.
He made those comments, all those same comments before the draft and before he knew the Patriots were going to draft Drake Maye. So he's a hired analyst now. He's calling it like he sees it. I think that's fine. I see no issue with that. And I note that they're giving Drake Maye number 10. That's his request. It used to be under Belichick that you had to earn your number in preseason. Mac Jones started with number 50, and he wound up winning the starting job as a rookie, and they gave him number 10. Drake Maye's locker is going to be next to Jacoby Brissett, and Maye went there right after the draft. He was in Boston and Foxborough today, and he called Mayo a player's coach,
which he is,
and he's going to have to compete with Brissett and Zappi. Who knows? Maybe Bailey Zappi will win the starting job.
Not
we'll
a
see.
chance.
We'll see.
Not a chance. So I like to play this game every once in a while, and we've done a couple mystery quarterback comparisons, a couple mystery player comparisons, which I actually have one of those actually today. So I actually want to get into one right now. So let's begin with the scouting report of two quarterbacks. So let's go with the first one. So the top one is, can get uncomfortable when initial reads aren't clear and clean. The second scouting report is, antsy when reads don't come quickly together. Oh, Mac Jones and Drake Maye. Okay, maybe that's a little bit unfair. Okay, how about let's go with another one. Okay, how about this one? Tendency to make bad plays worse. We'll run into bad sacks or throw head-scratching interceptions trying to save a play. And then the second one is, can put the ball in harm's way, trying to do a little too much. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's Mac Jones and Drake Maye again. Okay, how about one more at least. Let's go one more. Can struggle to come off his pre-snap read when the picture changes on him post-snap. The second one is, will wish throws open that he determined pre-snap as opposed to progressing. And let's find out what those are. Oh, it's Mac Jones and Mac Jones and Drake Maye. So we've seen a very similar comparison between the two quarterbacks. And not only that, here's another quarterback comparison between Drake Maye, the new Patriots quarterback, and someone else. We've displayed this on the show before. And that's Sam Howell. One went in the 5th round. The other one went 3rd overall. So I don't love the fact that Drake Maye went to the Patriots, but I kind of understand. It's because he has to. The Patriots had Jacoby Brissett or Bailey Zappi as their only quarterback options. So this was the only way to go. You could trade back, but apparently you need 4 first-round picks to trade back, which is kind of unreasonable for a guy who the Vikings actually ended up waiting for, actually traded up 1 pick to go get, and that's J.J. McCarthy. So I don't love it. And by the way, I actually want to show some of those the head-scratching interceptions. We've seen these before against the Colts. These head-scratching interceptions. That's a horrible one. You bring up Bailey Zappi. Well, let's talk about Bailey Zappi after a couple of these more Mac Jones head-scratching interceptions. This is going to be, yes, Drake Maye's a little bit better Mac Jones. A little bit better. But the scouting report is head-scratching interceptions. These are head-scratching interceptions. Thank God Mac Jones actually made a tackle on this one instead of, getting face-palmed by Chandler Jones. But what about Bailey Zappi? Let's give him a shot. Maybe he could get the starting job. Oh, he throws head-scratching interceptions too. So I don't think it makes a difference whether it's Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi because both of them kind of are not great quarterbacks. Drake Maye comes in here, and yes, he does have a great arm. But even Bill Belichick said on the Pat McAfee show, his footwork sucks. He never sets himself. He never steps into his throw. He just keeps, dancing around his happy feet, and then he throws the ball. He also misses a couple very easy throws to make. So, yes, I'm not the biggest Drake Maye fan, but what I will say is they had to get a quarterback.
Yeah.
And I would not choose J.J. McCarthy. I don't know if Elliot Wolf wanted to smoke screen it.
They asked for too much.
Yeah, they did.
To trade down. They could have had Minnesota's 2 first-round picks. And Minnesota wanted J.J. McCarthy.
Well, they didn't need to move for
so
him.
They could have.
They
didn't need to move, but they would have. I think they would have. They would have moved up. They would have moved up to the Patriots spot at 3 and given up those 2 first-round picks. The Patriots could have got either J.J. McCarthy or Bo Nix. Would have been there at 11. Well, and then they would have gotten the 23rd pick too. Yeah. I think they made a mistake.
Well, what's fascinating about this was, and it came out during the draft day, was actually at the Combine, the Patriots and the Vikings both inquired about potentially trading for Justin Herbert.
Yeah, I heard that, yeah.
Not a chance was the final report on that.
I understand that.
So you couldn't get Justin Herbert, so you had to go Drake Maye. I had Jaden Daniels hopefully dropping, but as the days progressed, we kind of expected Jaden Daniels to go number 2 to the Commanders. Looks like the asking price the Patriots said was a little too high. But what I'm going to say
A little. I'd say it was way too high.
Four first-round picks, supposedly.
Forget it. They could have had the Vikings 2 first-round picks. They could have had another impact player at number 23. Who went at number 23? Who was the 23rd player?
The 23rd.
Just out of curiosity. Doesn't mean they would have picked him.
The Jaguars traded with the Vikings. They moved from 17 to 23. The Jaguars selected Brian Thomas, wide receiver.
Oh. Well, that's a position the Patriots could have used too.
Which they have an opportunity to. They have an opportunity to because the number of wide receivers actually, A.D. Mitchell dropped down, which is shocking to me. Xavier Worthy, a pick of mine, moved up, which is good. Keon Coleman still going to be available.
Yeah.
Troy Franklin, Polk is still there. There's a number of receivers that are actually very, very nice that the Patriots could still get. Although Buffalo, this is the big one, Buffalo picks at 33. Will they trade back again? I'm not entirely sure, but there is an opportunity for the Patriots to still get one of the top prospects in this draft. But right now, as the team is currently constructed, it's not great. Wide receiver talent, still not great. I think Drake Maye is going to be a slightly better Mac Jones. Now, I think where Drake Maye is going to benefit is they will have actual head coaches, they'll have actual offensive coordinators, and, at least to help him out, actual defensive coordinators. So that's what I think. I think he'll benefit from competent coaching. The coaches who are actually, actually assigned to do their job and not special teams coordinators or defensive coaches, they're actually filling in their proper roles. Alex Van Pelt, an actual OC. DeMarcus Covington, who was a defensive line coach for the Patriots. He's the DC. Now, Gerard Mayo, defensive head coach. We'll see how that pans out for the young quarterback, Drake Maye. But I still think it's not going to be great. I don't think it's going to be great. He wasn't consistent enough. Didn't shine too much. He has a great arm. Lacks consistency, just like Belichick said.
I agree with Bill Belichick. There's a lot of question marks. He hasn't had that much experience. We don't know how. He hadn't played that many games in college. You could have drafted. You could have traded down, picked up Minnesota's two first-round picks, gotten a quarterback that probably is good, right? You could have probably had J.J. McCarthy or. Probably the Vikings would have taken J.J. McCarthy. You might have had Drake Maye. It might have been Drake Maye at 11. You definitely could have had Bo Nix. He went 12. So I think, and you could have had that 23rd pick, which you get another elite player. Could have gotten a really good wide receiver. Look at some of the wide receivers that went after number 23. Worthy went, Leggett went. So
Pearsall went.
Yeah. So I think the Patriots actually made a mistake.
I mean, obviously, time
This
will
is
tell,
Jonathan
but
Kraft, right? He was playing
it's
a big
also
role.
Elliot Wolf and Jonathan Kraft.
Jonathan Kraft playing a big role in the draft.
They needed quarterback. That's a given.
They didn't need a quarterback, but they still could have gotten one that was probably just as good and picked up another first-round pick. That's what I think.
I think if they traded down, I would have gone for Bo Nix. If they did trade down to, let's say, 11, I would have had them drafting Bo Nix because he's played in several offensive systems, has excelled basically. When he got to Oregon, he was tremendous. So I think if you're talking about a guy who's faced adversity already, had to deal with 5 different OCs and a number of head coaches, you're going to New England, learn that system. And also, what we heard about Bo Nix was, in like 16 hours, he was tremendous knowing the Broncos. I think he had 3 packets of offensive play calls. He apparently did amazing when the Broncos tested him out. So I think Bo Nix is going to be very good. He also falls to Sean Payton, who supposedly has the same sort of, hopes and expectations as he did in 2017 when he was supposedly going to draft Mahomes at 11. He has that same type of drive that he does for Mahomes as he does for Bo Nix this time. I don't know if Bo Nix is going to be Mahomes. I think I might be stretching it. But I do think Bo Nix is going to be a very, very good quarterback. I don't know in short order, but under Sean Payton, I think he will look good. I think he'll look very, very good. When it comes to Drake Maye, I don't know if they'll regret it. Obviously, time will tell. But as it's currently constructed, I'm not that hopeful. I mean, if I had to choose between Jacoby Brissett and Drake Maye, I would choose Drake Maye because I think there's actually some hope there. We've seen what Jacoby Brissett is. Drake Maye brings...
There'll be some excitement there because the fans want to see the supposed franchise quarterback be out there on the field. So we'll have to see. But maybe it's foreshadowing that he's wearing number 10. I don't know. We'll see.
We will have to see.
I'm surprised he picked that number, actually.
Well, it's his college number.
Yeah.
So, most players, when they go from college to the NFL, they want to keep their college number. Let's get into our next topic here. So Joel Embiid dropped a whole 50-piece against the New York Knicks, as well as had 8 rebounds in their 125-114 win over the New York Knicks. And 33 of those 50 points came in the second half, where he went 5 of 5 from three-point. I mean, this was an incredible game for Joel Embiid, especially coming after having that diagnosis. What is it? Bell's palsy, where he was been treated with that for the past week or whatever. Incredible stuff from Embiid, who was fighting through that. The second half, he absolutely exploded onto the scene. So I want to know, how impressive do you think Philly's win was over the New York Knicks in Game 3, down at the time 2-0?
Very impressive win, and a needed win. You can't go down 3-0, that's for sure. That was a must-win. They managed to come through. 50 points for Embiid, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. Maxey, 25 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. Lowry, 9 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists. Oubre, 15 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. So the scoring was the two players again. I mean, the 76ers are the two players, Embiid and Maxey, basically. And the rest of these guys are role players. But one player that came up big for them, who you didn't expect, was Payne.
Yeah,
right? He's somebody they picked up who was traded. He came to them in a late trade at the end of the year. He had 11 points, 1 rebound and 3 assists, hit 2 big threes, and assisted on a three-pointer in the second quarter. So he was big for them. On the Knicks side, Brunson broke out of his funk there, right, in the first couple of games. 39 points, 2 rebounds, and 13 assists. I mean, he had a fantastic game. And Hart did well, but not as well as in the first game at the Knicks. 20 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Anunoby came up pretty big, 17 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. And Robinson got hurt. His ankle. The same ankle that he hurt. He was out for so long before. He couldn't play in the second half. I don't know if that means he's out for an extended period or not. Maybe they just decided to rest him. Precious came in, and he played. He had 4 points, no rebounds. He's the center. You'd think he would have had a rebound or 2. No assists. I think he's a decent player. When I watched him, he's kind of an exciting player. So seeing him get some floor time will be interesting.
First time all series as well.
Yeah. And I think there were kind of 5 big things in this game that were important for the Sixers to win. Embiid surviving the foul trouble early, right, and the flagrant foul review. He was laying on the floor, and Robinson jumped up. You got this, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there he goes, and then he pulls him down by the leg. What the hell was he thinking there? That is, I don't know. Maybe he didn't quite grab his leg, but it sure looked like he was trying to do that. And he got a flagrant 1 out of that instead of a 2. If he gotten the 2, he would have been kicked out of the game, and that would have been it for the Sixers. They definitely wouldn't have won, given that he scored 50 points in the game. Number 2, the jump shots were falling for him, and the Knicks were fouling him. So the jump shots and the fouling, right? Embiid was 10 of 13 from the floor, 5 of 7 from three-point land. He had 7 post-ups in the first half when 12 points were scored, only 1 in the second half. Had 21 free throws, 19 of 21. So the jump shots and the fouling led to his 50 points, which was outstanding. And then number 3, the Sixers offense exploded in the third quarter, right? The Knicks were up 5 points in the third quarter. They had scored 27 points on 22 possessions in the third quarter. Philadelphia, 43 points on 21 possessions in the third quarter. That was amazing. And that really led to their getting out in front there and winning this game. And then number 4, I mentioned this already, Payne returns and makes an impact with the great assist he made there for the three-pointer and 2 three-pointers of his own in the second quarter. And interesting for the Sixers, 2 point guards played 39 out of the 48 minutes, so they had 2 point guards on the floor. And number 5, Robinson going down, and Achiuwa, how do you pronounce his
Precious
name?
Achiuwa
called into duty. Robinson's left ankle, which he hurt before, that could be a problem. They're going to need him. Hartenstein in foul trouble the whole game. Achua also got into foul trouble. So playing against Embiid is big, and he says he's only 70% out there. Well, when he scores 50 points, I think he's fibbing us. I think he's really doing a little better than 70%.
I don't know if he's exactly fibbing, but what I will say is I'll jump in on the Knicks first before I jump into the 76ers, because I don't know if it's a hot take, but I have a strong take on Embiid in this game because he came out with a different mindset than what we've maybe seen, at least recently. Josh Hart, another great game. He didn't have the rebounding success that he has in the first two games, but still had 20 points, shot 50% from three. Great job. OG Anunoby, best offensive game in this entire series. Like you mentioned, Jalen Brunson, 39 points, 13 assists. He had his best game of the series as well. So we have three players who performed very, very well. Two of which had their best offensive performances of this playoff series. Dante's Inferno, Dante DiVincenzo, his worst offensive game of the series. Horrible. 5 points, 0 of 3 from 3, 2 of 7. He's the guy who broke the Knicks franchise record for most three-pointers made. He only shot 3 in this game. This is pretty bad. You couldn't stop Embiid. Could not stop Embiid for the life of you. Now, it could be, I don't know if the refs exactly, because they filed for a grievance after the first two games, said the refs were terrible. Joel Embiid shot more free throw attempts than the entire Knicks. He shot 21 free throw attempts. The entirety of the Knicks shot 19, and they only made 13 of them, which is 68%. They're called free throws. Free throws for a reason. Free 1 point. Or if you don't make the shot, free 2 points. Or free 3 points. Whatever the case may be. It's free points, basically. Nobody moves. Nobody's blocking your shot. Make your free throws. Jalen Brunson, he went 10 of 12. Mitch Robinson, horrible from the free throw line. 0 of 2. I think his average is like 43% or something like that. It's terrible. Let me jump on the 76ers side. Embiid, this was a very dirty game from Embiid. You mentioned it before, and I'll bring it up again. Draymond Green, and this is correct. That is a flagrant one, absolutely. Grabbing a guy by the legs and bringing him down and tripping him up. I mean, that's basically what Draymond Green did. Now, this is what would get Draymond Green not suspended, but actually he did get him suspended for a game, but at least kicked out of the game. You kick a guy in the midsection, that's not a natural shooting motion. I mean, this is like the Domantas Sabonis Goomba stomping, except Embiid's the reason why. And in this one, you kick Mitch Robinson in the midsection. That's not a natural shooting motion. That's a dirty kick right there. Nobody's really saying about it. Nobody's really talking about it, at least from what I'm seeing when they analyze this game. But when you kick a guy in the midsection, that's not great. And that was after, actually, you got the flagrant on you. So even if it's not a flagrant 2 necessarily, you give him a tech, you give him a flagrant 1 maybe, because that is not a basketball move. That's not a natural shooting motion. Embiid would have been kicked out of that game. He scored 33 points, like I mentioned, in the second half. He went 5 of 5 from 3 and had 13 free throw attempts. He made 12 of them in the second half. Like, Joel Embiid in that second half exploded, and the Knicks had no answer for him. Hartenstein, who was one of their better defenders, he could not stop Embiid for the life of him. 22 points Embiid scored on him. Mitch Robinson, another great Knicks defender. Embiid scored 10 points on him, so 32 points amongst your two biggest guys on the court. 32 out of your 50 points. Embiid was shooting the 3 very well. Maxey had a couple very, very nice shots. Kelly Oubre, we mentioned him before. If the Sixers had a shot, Kelly Oubre's got to get going. He scored 15 points. Also had 7 rebounds as well. The Knicks got out-rebounded. The 76ers had more steals, more block shots. They just wanted this game much more. Now, could it be the Philly crowd? Probably. The Philly crowd is loud and proud, and they're going to get in your head. Maybe this is what this game was. It's just the Philly crowd, really disturbing the Knicks. But Embiid and the Sixers, completely different mindset. From the get-go, this was a physical and relatively dirty game, in my opinion. So, I think, in totality, you score 50 points. It's impressive.
Maybe that's a little bit of a home court advantage.
Maybe.
When you can punch people in the stomach and pull their leg.
That wasn't the stomach. That was a little bit below the stomach. It said not a punch. It was a kick. It was a kick. So, good for Joel Embiid. He scored 50 points, shot 21 free throws. In reality, if we're just saying how many points he scored from shooting the basketball and not from free throws, he scored 31 points. So, great job, Joel. I mean, no, he played well. Great defense. The Knicks could not stop him. Like I said, 32 points on the 2 top Knicks defenders. Not top defenders, just top big men. Miles McBride, since game 1, has disappeared. He scored only 8 points. He took 7 shots. He's disappeared. Mitch Robinson, like I said, 2 points. He missed 2 free throws as well. Bojan Bogdanovic, not a good game at all. 1 of 5 from the floor. The Knicks just didn't play very well, besides Jalen Brunson. And actually, what's funny about this is exactly how I expected the Knicks to come into the series. Jalen Brunson dropping near like 35 to 40 points, and the Knicks still not getting the win. When I mentioned Brunson or bust, this is exactly what I was talking about. Now, the thing is that Josh Hart stepped up. Dante DiVincenzo stepped up. So, I'm not saying the Knicks are done. I think they're still very much in this. We both said that they would lose this game anyway. So we were expecting the Sixers to come out here and play very, very well, and which they did. 2 flagrant fouls, by the way. Kyle Lowry also got a flagrant foul with 6:59 left. I believe it was the first quarter. So the Sixers came out playing dirty. They came out playing rough. The Knicks just couldn't respond. In that second half, no answer for Embiid. You got to do better. Embiid's going to stay out here being as ferocious as ever because he knows if he out-physicals you, you're screwed. Absolutely screwed. We're going to take a quick break, but coming up, we're going to actually analyze the first round of the draft. Round 2 is actually going on right now, and I'm sure as we talk about round 1, we'll update some of the picks. Like, for instance, the Buffalo Bills still need to choose a pick, which I believe may have come in already. I'm getting a number of notifications here. So we'll talk about the draft after this 20-second break.
Using Wi-Fi without NordVPN could mean sharing your private stuff with more people than you think. Stay safe on public Wi-Fi. Get NordVPN's special offer and encrypt your internet connection. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.
Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name's Nathan Harvey. Sorry for that little 20-second break. As always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. Let's get into our final topic of today's show. So the NFL draft, round 1 of the NFL draft has finally concluded. This is the full first round of the draft. It's a lot there. A number of trades that the Vikings traded up 1 spot with the Jets and then traded, back with... they traded up, with the Jacksonville Jaguars. There were a lot of moves made in this draft, and like we said, there was a point system, so let me quickly explain what the point system was for us. So 5 points is right team, right player. That's 5 points. 3 points is right position for right team for our mock drafts, and then 1 point if a player we selected in the first round goes in the first round. I had 79 points, you had 70. I want to know, let's start with the winners here. Are there a lot of teams, or just who do you think the winners were in this draft, at least in the first round,
I'd say the Bears are a winner, right? They got 2 picks in the first round, and they made good use of them. Caleb Williams, probably the best thrower on the move. He can make that big play when the design play breaks down. He needs to be a little more selective on his throws, but he was the first player picked, and it was anticipated he would be, and the Bears didn't disappoint. They went with him. So I thought that was the right move. And then they had the 9th pick, and they picked Rome Odunze, and I think he was a very good choice as well. At that point, Malik Neighbors was gone, and so was Marvin Harrison. So he was the next best wide receiver out there, and they got him. He's a complete receiver. He's got size, athleticism. He can physically dominate at every level on the field. He can win the contested catch. I think those 2 guys together could be pretty special. So I gave the Bears the number 1 picks. Since they had the number 1 pick and they had number 9 too, I think they did well. They didn't have any head scratching there in terms of the 2 picks they made. So I gave them number 1. You want to do yours?
Sure.
And then I'll come back with my number 2.
My first winner, actually, and I think who won the biggest one, I think, honestly, Minnesota Vikings. You didn't need to move up to get a quarterback. You actually kept both your first-round picks. You trade up 1 spot, didn't really give up much to get J.J. McCarthy, and then you got arguably the best edge rusher in this entire draft with Dallas Turner at 17. So my number 1 winner is absolutely the Vikings. Now, I want to go to my worst. Let's do some sort of alternating thing. The worst one would be the loser, easily, hands down, first one, Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons as well. I mean,
I don't need to say anything more. I said it all about the Falcons and that crazy pick. That was definitely the worst pick.
Absolutely. He was actually the lowest draft grade according to ESPN in this first round. Everybody had above an 85, and Michael Penix had the 85. So this was a complete overstretch here, in my opinion. So I think that, if we think about it, by the way, the graphic is slightly wrong. J.C. Latham went to the Chargers. So it's slightly wrong. It's my fault. And that's actually my number 2 loser. Honestly, I'm saying the Chargers. You got J.C. Latham. It's an overdraft. Complete overdraft. You had an opportunity to go out. All right. Excuse me. Am I getting that wrong? Did Joe Alt go number 5? It was Joe Alt. My apologies. The graphic's right. Regardless, you need a weapon. Quentin Johnston is not your wide receiver 1. You can't make him your wide receiver 1. Now, you could, but we saw last year. Drops, not great route running, bad all around. Completely bad all around. So, drafting Joe Alt there, and then, number 7. That's my mistake. Yeah, the Titans drafted J.C. Latham. That was a complete overdraft. We had him, going later in the, for instance, I had him going 24 to the Cowboys. I forget where you had Latham going, but we had him later on. I think you might have him going to the Steelers at number 20. He got drafted 7th. So
yeah, I had him number 20.
Who are your losers? Because I have 2. I said the Chargers, I think they should go on receiver, and I had the Titans.
Yeah, my second loser were the Patriots. I think
really?
They should have traded down. They should have traded down. They could have had 2 picks. I think they could have gotten Minnesota's picks, and I think that I'm not sure about Drake Maye. I kind of agree with Bill Belichick. He's not Josh Allen.
Well, I mean, you're not going to find a Josh Allen. That's the thing. You're not going to find him laying there. He's a unique talent. He's a Big Ben and Cam Newton combo with an incredible arm. So I think, and by the way, just a little bit of a draft update. The Buffalo Bills with the 33rd pick selected Keon Coleman, and the Chargers actually traded up to number 34 and drafted, I'm seeing it right now, Ladd McConkey. There we go. Ladd McConkey. So they got their receiver, which I guess at this point was expected.
I can't wait to see I hope the Patriots take a wide receiver.
Patriots trade the number 34. Oh, that was the pick, by the way. Yeah, the number 34 for the number 37 and a 4th rounder. So that 34th pick was the Patriots. So they traded the 34th and a 5th for the Chargers 37th and a 4th rounder, which is number 137. So we'll have to wait a little bit to see who the Patriots draft. My guess is you should go receiver. And here's my question. A.D. Mitchell is dropping. Why? He was like a top receiver in this draft. After Rome Odunze and after Malik Neighbors. The next highest one for a lot of mock drafts was A.D. Mitchell. I think the biggest one, and this is one I actually had, was Xavier Worthy to the Chiefs. Because that one just made too much sense. If we're talking about an offense that relied on dinking and dunking since Tyreek Hill left, and the offense worked, it won a couple Super Bowls in the process, you got that speed back immediately with the fastest combine speed in the history of the combine at a 4.21. So that's a massive win.
I thought the Cardinals had a good draft, right? They got Harrison. He was supposedly the best player in the draft, and they picked him up at number 4. And they also got a great interior defensive lineman in Darius Robinson.
Yeah.
Right? He's
another one of my picks.
6'5", 296. He gets some great strength scores, size, length. He brings that to the defensive front. He's a prototypical frame 5 technique player based on the 4-3 scheme, which is what Arizona's going to play. So I thought they had a very good draft so far with those 2 players in the first round.
A questionable one for me is Amarius Mims to the Bengals, number 18. You now have 3 6'8" tackles. Do you think Trent Brown or Orlando Brown Jr. is going to get hurt? You also have T. Higgins and Trey Hendrickson, who both requested trades. T. Higgins requested a trade again. So my guess is those 2 players may be out the door.
Yeah.
So I don't know if tackle was your best selection at number 18. You could have gone receiver. But you decide, or go for arguably one of the better interior players, because that's what the Steelers got. The Steelers got Troy Fautanu, who's a guard. That was a good pickup for them. I had them drafting Jackson Powers Johnson, who I think is a guard center. So they got a very, very good offensive lineman. One that I was a little bit shocked by, just in the totality, 2 players did not go in the first round: Cooper DeJean and then Kool-Aid McKinstry. Both those are two very, very good defensive backs, did not go in the first round. But this was if we take a look at what the draft looked like, we're talking very, very few defensive players. Very few compared to the offensive side.
Yeah, I have both McKenzie and DeJean going in the first round. McKenzie to the Rams and DeJean to the Green Bay Packers, and it didn't happen.
Right.
They're both there.
If I quickly counted right, there were, I think, 9 or 10 defensive players in the first round. And by the way, there was actually history made at this draft because there were no defensive players drafted in the top 10, which is the first. It's never happened ever. And the
A lot of offensive linemen taken, man.
Oh, like I said,
there was so many bad offensive lines last year.
Yeah.
Really poor offensive line play. The defenses had the advantage last year, and this showed in this draft that a lot of offensive linemen going in the draft. How many we got here?
Offensive players?
Offensive linemen. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You missed one.
6, 7 offensive linemen.
You missed
eight offensive linemen.
Yeah.
8 out of 32. That's a pretty high percentage.
By the way, Falcons got defensive
That's 25% of the first-round players were offensive linemen. What's that draft pick?
Falcons got their interior defensive lineman. I'm going to mess up this entire last name, but it's Rook or Hornhoro, Clemson. I probably definitely botched that last name, but they did get the defensive player. So the round 2 is currently going on right now, as well as the Buccaneers, Bucks Pacers game, and just a little bit update on that. Pacers are winning 88-79. So I don't know if we'll be live when the Patriots draft, but with the remaining players, who do you think the Patriots should go for?
I think they should go wide receiver, but now they've traded down.
We're 2 spots away now.
Yeah.
We're at the 36th pick right now.
Yeah, I think they should go wide receiver. I think they should, and offensive lineman. Those will be the next 2 picks I think they should go for. And I prioritize the wide receiver.
That has to be what you're going for.
Yeah. I mean, they got to help out Drake Maye with some talent on the outside there. That was one thing that I think in Matt Jones's defense, he didn't have. He really didn't have an elite wide receiver. And I'm not sure you get an elite one at number 37, but they should be looking for that, I think. That would be my choice. Who's left?
Well, A.D. Mitchell, who's a top prospect. You also have Troy Franklin. You have Polk from Washington. This draft is filled with a lot of receiver talent. It's just about who are you trying to fit your scheme better. I'm shocked A.D. Mitchell is still available. I'm shocked that, Pearsall was more of a, who went to the 49ers. He was more of a round 2 type of guy. And then Leggett, you had him actually in the first round. I didn't. But I rarely, if any, I don't know, the mock drafts I looked at did not have Xavier Leggett at all in the first round.
I picked him in the first round.
You did have him in the first round. That's what I'm saying. The Panthers traded into the first round.
Up to get that, right?
And also, what the hell are the Bills doing trying to trade with the Chiefs? Didn't you learn your lesson? You literally were the reason they traded back with the Chiefs in 2017. Then the Chiefs got Patrick Mahomes with that draft pick. Now you're letting them trade up to get Xavier Worthy, the fastest guy in this draft, the fastest NFL player technically at a 4.21 40. I don't know what the Bills.
They got Coleman. He was pretty good. I had him going in the first round.
You had him going, I think, really early, relatively early. I think that was a week 2 pick for you.
Coleman, where do I have him on
my? I think he was in your 11 to 21. I think it was the Jacksonville Jaguars 17. Pretty sure.
No, I had Leggett there.
Oh, right. Keon was the Bills 28. That's who you had it too.
Yes, I did have him 28. I don't know why the Bills traded out of the first round.
Trying to get draft capital.
I mean, they lost Diggs. They needed a wide receiver. They took one, right?
Coleman. They took Keon Coleman at first pick in the second round.
That's who I had him picking. So
doesn't matter. It's not in the first round. I can't give you those points.
I want to pick up 5 points for that, Nate. I still didn't win.
Well, you still didn't win. Yeah, you're at 75 now. So we're done with the at least the mock draft portion. The draft will go on for today and tomorrow. So Monday we'll talk about who won what teams won the draft Tuesday. Excuse me. We'll talk about what teams the winners, what teams the losers, what teams still need help. We're going to break down a couple more of these particular picks like we did today with Michael Penix and Drake Maye. We're going to break down a couple more of these on Tuesday. But for this episode of the Harvey Hour, we thank you.
More to say about the Celtics, too.
Yeah, no, the Celtics play tomorrow. We'll talk about them on Tuesday as well. The Knicks, they have a game coming up as well. We'll talk about that. Lakers, we haven't talked about them on the show yet. It's been one half of pure dominance. Then the third quarter, the Nuggets go back to being the Nuggets again.
Yeah.
They're up 3-0. Lakers are done.
Except for the Lakers.
Lakers are done. So I'm sure we'll talk about them coming up as well. But for this episode of the Harvey Hour, my name is Nathan Harvey. That's my dad, Stephen Harvey. We have been the host of the Harvey Hour. Catch us Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube.
Good night, Grandpa.
Using Wi-Fi without NordVPN could mean sharing your private stuff with more people than you think. Stay safe on public Wi-Fi. Get NordVPN's special offer and encrypt your internet connection. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.